Center for today's men's basketball game featuring the Washington and Jefferson presidents and your Carnegie Mellon University Spartans. Fans, as we honor our great nation and the men and women serving our country at home and abroad, we ask that you please rise if able and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Happy Tuesday and welcome here inside of the Highmark Center on the campus of Carnegie Mellon University as the Tartans welcome in a non-conference opponent today, 146th meeting ever, as they welcome in the Washington and Jefferson presidents from the President's Athletic Conference, all coming up next right here on the PAC Sports Network and on the CMU Athletics website. Drew Von Sayo, Jack Ridenauer here with you. And Drew, we look at these two teams, and again, off to great starts, non-conference, so not necessarily a lot on the line, but in terms of a win for the resume, it could be a huge victory for W&J if they can take down a ranked Tartans team. But for Carnegie Mellon, an awesome opportunity here for them to get their 17th straight win against this President's team.
And for W&J specifically, it would be by far the biggest win of the season. You look at that game against Baldwin Wallace back in the middle of November, that's the resume prize to this point. A win today against Carnegie Mellon would top that. And for the Tartans, of course, you go back to about a week and a half ago, the game against Middlebury. There's a ranked win there, but you know, it's just one of those games for Carnegie Mellon. You just want to keep that tradition, that history going of coming out on top.
W&J comes in 7-3 overall, 3-0 on the road, while for Carnegie Mellon, 7-1 overall and 4-0 at home. Taking a look at the starting lineups, and we'll start with the visitors. Washington and Jefferson rolls out Matthew Cart, followed by Matt Seidel, Quentin Berlensky, Alex Acosta, and Nathan Plotner. Again, that's Cart, Seidel, Berlensky, Acosta, and Plotner. Over for Carnegie Mellon, they roll out the usual suspects: Justin Allen, Buckley DeJardin, Isaac Higgs, RJ Holmes, and Nolan Casey. Again, Allen, DeJardin, Higgs, Holmes, and Casey. Both teams with a lot of winning as of recently. For Carnegie Mellon, they have been winners of 5 in a row, looking to make it 6 after today. While for W&J, they recently had their three-game winning streak snapped in a tough loss to St. Vincent. Drew, this was the big outlier in that one. They were out-rebounded by the Bearcats by 20 boards in the 90-71 loss.
And the other big thing, too, is St. Vincent shot over 50% from the floor and from three-point range. So the Presidents defensively have to be better. They have to be better on the glass, because you get guys like RJ Holmes, Nolan Casey. They know how to dominate the glass. They know how to box out there in the paint. And if you don't get physical with them, it's going to be a long day.
First meeting between these two goes all the way back to the late 60s. Right now, W&J in the lead of the all-time, 73-72. Let's get set for tip-off here. Off and running we go here from Highmark Center as the Presidents control the opening tip, looking for their first win against the Tartans since 2000. Here's Berlensky. They swing it over for Matthew Cart. Inside for Acosta. He's been a dangerous player in the President's Athletic Conference. Plotner, the reigning conference player of the week. 8 to shoot. Acosta forces it. DeJarden right there with the rebound. Tartans look to run, trying to get a 6th straight win. Coming off a big win against the first-ranked team that they've gone up against in Middlebury last weekend. DeJarden, top-tier three-point shooter. Here's Allen. He has been on a tear, to say, offensively. 6 to shoot. Holmes can't get it to go. Plotner right there with the board. And Plotner on the season averaging a double-double, 10 boards a contest. There's Cart. Tries to stretch off the screen. He's had 4 games of double digits. All 4 have been 12-point games. Can't get the leaner. Holmes inhales the rebound. Here's Higgs. Higgs has really come to life this season. They'll stay with the Tartans.
And that's a great job right there from Plotner, recognizing that ball was going right to Casey, just reaching in, knocking that ball away. That's going to be a key battle here between Casey and Plotner. The rest of this game just continuing to fight for position down there in the perimeter.
Inside for the aforementioned Casey. Player that can do a little bit of everything. Seidel pinches him off. 10 to shoot for the Tartans. Allen, averaging 24 a game, has it blocked by Plotner. Berlinski in transition, finds Seidel. Cart. He's been a nice emergence as a sophomore. Dumps it inside for Plotner, the up and under. The big fella gets the Presidents on the board first.
And that's a great read right there from Cart, recognizing that he had very little space, just bouncing that ball inside and finding Plotner in the lane.
A 5-second violation. Higgs did not get it in enough time. Again, mentioned about Higgs, he's now started 6 games in a row after not seeing a ton of time, more so as a reserve. Some injuries have allowed for Higgs to ascend through the roster. But right now, his team in jeopardy of falling even further. Cart can't get the leaner. Plotner with the board goes up. Holmes snags it. Holmes this year averaging almost 11 rebounds a game to go along with his 15 points per game. Holmes circumvents. Casey can't get it to go, and the donut hole still on the board for the Tartans. 2.5 minutes into this first half. Seidel pried free by Allen, and it stays with the Presidents. Lucas Pavlonis checks in for CMU.
And Seidel right there, recognizing that he had the space to drive inside. Allen just sliding over at the last second, doing just enough to get in his way and prevent the easy bucket.
Seidel has been a really nice player throughout his career at W&J. He's an all-conference performer his freshman season. Berlinski left open, cashes in. Presidents off to a 5-0 start, not quite 3 minutes into the opening half. A team that has not defeated Carnegie Mellon since 2000, trying to change that here and give CMU their first loss at home.
And Jack, I like the W&J's coming out in this full court press. It's something that Carnegie Mellon certainly didn't expect, catching them by surprise early, and what forces an early timeout for the Tartans.
And a good timeout for Coach Tony Wingen, because his team clearly a little frazzled right now. When you go back to that 5-second violation by Higgs, he's simply tapping his chest saying, that's on me. It's just a simple mental lapse. And right now for CMU, a little bit of a slow start, which is kind of uncharacteristic, because this year CMU has outscored their opponents 304 to 237 in the first half. It's really been the second half where teams come back and really make things interesting.
And now you're starting to see that script flip a little bit today. It's going to be W&J starting out on the right foot. But you almost have to wonder if there isn't a little bit of W&J recognizing and knowing what Carnegie Mellon's going to do, because President's head coach Ethan Stewart-Smith was an assistant for Tony Wingen here at CMU for one season before taking the reins at W&J.
Here comes Higgs. This team's still looking for that first point of the contest. Trying to pick up their 6th consecutive win. DeJarden back to Pavlonis. Has Acosta on his back. The foul on the floor first. First foul of the contest. And that is on Acosta, his first.
And that right there was a moment Acosta recognizing he was beat, just trying to get the contact off before Pavlonis went up for the shot and did just that.
Here's Desjardins, one of the top scorers for the Tartans, but he's swatted by Plotner. Runs the floor out of his reach. Berlinski with the right idea, but it's back down for the Tartans.
That's the second block of the day already for Plotner, but for the Presidents, that's also a scenario where, you know, you're trying to move quickly in transition, but Berlinski maybe getting a little bit trigger happy and moving a little bit too quickly.
Holmes soars in for two. An absolute rim ripper to get the Tartans on the board 3.5 minutes into the first half. Acosta gets cut off. Back up top for Seidel. Seidel, a top 3 scorer this season for the Presidents. Berlinski circles out. Back come the Tartans. 16 minutes to play in the opening half. Desjardins rips through, hangs, and hits. Back-to-back buckets for CMU, so clearly whatever was said in the timeout starting to resonate.
Buckley Desjardins just driving along the baseline, putting in a little stutter step and making things happen.
Seidel offline. Tartans could take their first lead of the game here. After a slow, stagnant start for the home team, trying to come to life, but Seidel reads it well. Off to the races. Easy finish.
Pavlonis a little bit careless there on the pass, just airing it in, and Seidel saying thank you very much.
Stays with CMU. Seidel is the team leader in steals this season with 25 coming into today. Josh Chambers, along with Cameron Rawl and Michael Plasko, all check in for W&J, while over for Carnegie Mellon, it's Alex Hassanin, another guard that has seen his time increase with some injuries for the CMU Tartans. Tartans looking for their 17th consecutive win against the Presidents, despite the Presidents leading the all-time head-to-head 73-72. Desjardins has a case of butterfingers. Here comes Chambers. Goes up, can't finish. It's been scoreless in 2 straight games, and right now that trend continues. Hassanin probes. Pavlonis buried deep. Can't get it around Plotner, and a big-time rebound by Plotner.
Plotner just in the right place, making things difficult for Pavlonis, and difficult enough to prevent that shot from carrying in.
Rawl. Desjardins has it. Here's Hassanin, few games removed from a career-high 14 points. Allen trying to get himself going, and a good sign there, a long 2 to pull the Tartans within 1.
And you knew it was only a matter of time before Justin Allen got involved. Better late than never, and he forces a steal right there.
Right on cue. Off to the races. Plotner chases. And Allen for 2 to give the Tartans their first lead of the ball game, almost 6 minutes into this first half.
And Justin Allen, he's one of those players, you can't erase him entirely. It's just about containing him as much as possible, and that's going to be the task for W&J here this afternoon.
Seidel gets his own miss. Sticks with the second try. Allen gets a piece of it. Hops through. Goes up. Drops it in for 2.
And Allen just makes that look too easy.
He has been soaring in for some of these buckets. 2 games removed from a season-high 36 points against Bowdoin. Actually also reached the 1,000-point mark that game. Chambers draws contact against Desjardins. And that is his first, team's first in the opening half. This puts Chambers at the free throw line. Like mentioned, he's been scoreless in 2 straight games. But he's been good at the free throw line. 8 of 10 on the year. First one good. In for CMU, Casey along with Aiden Murphy and Dylan Bronner. While over for W&J, it's Acosta and Berlinski that re-enter.
And Nolan Casey in for Carnegie Mellon.
Last year when these 2 teams met up, it was a close one. CMU won 95-88, but there was a lot of points put up, and W&J led at the half that game, so eerily similar. W&J throwing the first punch, and now it's a matter of how the Tartans respond. Murphy pumps the brakes. Allen into a triple. Money. Biggest lead of the ball game for CMU. Plasko knifes through and it's swatted. Bronner turning it away. Big time rejection coming from the sophomore.
And it's great heads-up awareness there from Bronner. He was over on the far side of the court, recognizing the drive inside, just sliding over, getting his hand up, making himself big, and he gets a piece of it to prevent that basket.
He's a top 3 shot blocker on this CMU team. Acosta fakes and fires. Walensky keeps the possession. Can't get the pull-up. Murphy climbs the ladder. And he's fouled by W&J. It's the President's second and Rawls first.
Cameron Rawls picks up his first personal, team second foul.
Tartans in front by 4. Trailed early, but they have come back. Looking to stay undefeated here inside of their brand new facility, the Highmark Center. Already 4-0 when playing here at home. You look at W&J, they have been flawless on the road, 3-0 when having to travel. Bronner coughs it up. Rawl off to the races. Takeoff time, and he finishes.
And Jack, it's just been very sloppy for CMU so far in possession. A lot of carefree passes, not putting enough pace on the ball, and it's allowing W&J to take those scoop and scores with ease.
Foul that comes against W&J. And that comes against Michael Plasko. That's his first, team's third in the first half. Yeah, CMU, you could definitely tell they have been a step slower than W&J, and I'm sure for the Presidents, they really charged themselves up for a game like this against a ranked team, a top 20 team in the nation. Trying to pull off a huge upset here against the number 19th ranked Tartans. Casey fires it off Plasko. Great heads-up awareness by Casey.
Casey, recognizing didn't really have a whole lot of room, was being pushed over that baseline, just had to throw it off of his opponent and allow his team to reset.
I mentioned how Casey last year was second on the team in assists, or second on the team in rebounds, first in assists. There's truly a little bit of everything. 7 to shoot for the Tartans, trying to extend the lead. Hassanine drills it from deep. Big time triple swells the lead to the biggest for the Tartans. Bronner gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar. That's his first, team second in the opening half.
And for Hassanine to make that play just a few moments ago, it's one of those that this Tartans team is going to need. You're going to need guys to come off the bench, produce a lot of scoring, especially when your starting 5 isn't getting it done quite yet.
Rawl, the jab and drive. Walensky back to Rawl, goes up, challenges Casey, and wins the one-on-one battle to pull the Presidents back within 3. Rawl, a local product from Franklin Regional High School, was part of the Panthers' historic run last year. Hassanine streaks in, dishes, and Casey drops it in. And a timeout called by W&J to try and chat things over, but ever since that previous timeout by CMU, Drew, the Tartans, they've really come to life offensively.
And you mentioned it a little bit ago, Jack, about, that message in the timeout. I'm sure it was just a quick reset, move on, forget about it. Let's just play the way we know how to play. And we're starting to see that from Carnegie Mellon. Passes are coming in a little bit quicker, going through the offense a little bit smoother. And as a result, it's just allowing both of these teams, especially CMU, to find their rhythm.
Carnegie Mellon Athletics would like to thank its corporate partners, number 1 Cochran, BSN Sports, DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel, and Suites Pittsburgh Downtown. Go Squeeze, Go Local, Mo Southwest Grill, Panera Bread, Penn Station, and Pizza Parma. Number 1 Cochran Automotive is proud to be the official auto group of CMU Athletics. Shop 19 new car brands and thousands of pre-owned vehicles at Cochran.com/CMU. Drew Von Sio, Jack Ridenauer here with you as we take a look back at the flush by Cameron Rawl. He is no stranger to saying hello to the rim.
And it's one of those plays that he just reads it like a book, recognizing that the opportunity is there. Got a little bit aggressive defensively. He had to walk the line between being aggressive but not being too aggressive, and his gamble pays off.
Rawl, one of the many youthful players on this W&J team that have had a major impact already on the season. Berlinski resets the offense. Presidents trail by 5. They've led by as many as 5 back in the opening minutes. 7 to shoot. Plotner, high post. Acosta, 3. Rattles out. Foul, and that comes against CMU. This could be on Nolan Casey. It would be CMU's 3rd. And that is on Casey. That is his first.
One of the things, Jack, I'm seeing here from CMU defensively, taking Plotner out of the offense. That's something that they struggled with early on, and it's an adjustment from Tony Wingen.
Plasko hits the in-between 2. 3-point separation. Plasko, another local product from South Fayette. Tremendous high school player. Was one of the top scorers his final year. Bronner. Berlinski with a good board, and now W&J once again here with a chance to pull within 1 or even tie it up after trailing by as many as 5. Trying to snap CMU's 5-game winning streak. Cart penetrates. Can't finish, and Casey once again with another rebound. Spartans trying to build off their big win when they last played here at home against Middlebury. Not to mention trying to avoid being upset by the unranked Presidents. Casey sees the alleyway. 7 to shoot. Big fella can't finish. Second try. Back out. Allen puts it through. Biggest lead of the ball game for either team, a 6-point edge. And the Tartans, they have flipped the script on this one. Plasko swoops in for 2. What a move by the freshman. He's been in double figures in 4 of the last 5 games he's played in.
Plasko just recognizing the space, knowing he had to show off his skills there, and doing just that, got the kiss off the glass too.
Murphy wide open on the back door. Casey gets caught in the air. Murphy. Cart secures. W&J still trying to trim down on this deficit. Plasko getting deep in his bag. Iron unkind. Murphy. Off the heel, Acosta pulls down another rebound.
That's a big break there for W&J. Murphy wide open.
Deep inside for Cart, just bullies Hassanin to the lane. And it's back to a 1-possession ball game. Still more of this token press by the Presidents. Allen all air. A rare miss for him, his first from beyond the arc. Higgs, DeJardin, and Holmes all back in for CMU. That's Plasko with the beautiful offense. And for the Presidents, it is Seidel that re-enters. Right now, both teams shooting vastly different from the floor. CMU 45%, W&J at 33%. Presidents have struggled from beyond the arc. Just 1 made 3 in their 5 attempts. Almost 8 minutes remaining in this first half. Plasko dribbling the air out of the ball. And it's going to be a backcourt. Good job by Seidel noticing that. He's trying to argue that it was tipped by CMU, but then it went off of his arm, so.
Either way, it was going to be CMU ball.
Yeah, and you give credit to Murphy, or no, that was Higgs that was making a run on that ball, because sometimes players will lag off and can get an easy layup. Bronner needs to get it in. He does. Already 1 5-second violation against CMU. They don't want another. Higgs burrows down. Good hands by Seidel, and it stays with CMU with 9 on the 30. Sam Andriatola checks in for CMU. Chambers checks back in for the Presidents, who are looking to get their first win in more than 20 years against the Tartans. Have to flash back to the year 2000 when it was a 49-47 final. Vastly different from how these two teams fought last year. Higgs with 4 to shoot. Triggers a triple, and he cashes in. Isaac Higgs with just 1 made 3 over the last 4 games, but a huge trifecta there to push the lead back to 5. Chambers muscles his way through, can't finish. 7.5 to play. Holmes. Bronner. Good hands by Seidel. Another steal for him, his second today. Chambers stays with the Presidents. Great recovery by CMU.
And it was Bronner there, quickly tracking back, just trying to make himself big, cut the pass off along the baseline, and now it's an opportunity to slow this game down. It was a lot of transition play over the last few minutes.
And despite both teams playing awfully fast, they combined for just 8 total turnovers. Chambers. Plasko, the standout freshman. Finds a fellow freshman in Rawl, but ricochets back to Plasko with 7 to shoot. And Desjardins picks up his second, team's 4th. And the last weekend that Carnegie Mellon was here at home, Desjardins ran into a good bit of foul trouble as he has to check out for his fellow teammate, Justin Allen.
And it's one of those things, wasn't necessarily a foul there that Desjardins was trying to pick up, just got caught at the wrong place and didn't quite move his feet quick enough. It's one of those little things that's going to frustrate the heck out of you as a player, frustrate your coaching staff too. You just got to find a way to get yourself in the right positions.
Plotner finds Rawl off the back screen, and it stays with the Presidents. Murphy checks back in for CMU. This Presidents team last year had an uncharacteristic season, to say the least. 9-16 overall, was their first losing season since 18-19, when they went 10-16 in 2018-2019. Trying to get back to the mountaintop of the PAC. Plasko with 2 defenders in his face, doesn't matter. And again, inches his team closer. Allen leaks out. This press crew has been stifling right now for the Presidents.
Almost one of those scenarios where it's CMU just barely getting the ball over into the front court to avoid a 10-second violation.
Inside for Andriatola. He chisels out a 2 for himself.
And Andriatola just seeing that little window of space, taking advantage of it, slipping inside and laying that one in off the rim.
Chambers pierces through. Plotner works on Holmes. The hook and the 2. Fabulous finish by Plotner, who leads the team in scoring at 15 a game as just a sophomore. It's a player that averaged just 12 minutes a game last year, and he has soared that all the way up to 31 this season.
Put in a lot of work in the offseason, and it's something that Ethan Stewart-Smith recognized early, getting him into the lineup in the opener against Clarkson and not looking back.
Andriatola short, Rawl, tussles it away. Chambers almost had the and one opportunity, but he still has a chance to pull his Presidents within 1 as he draws the foul against Sam Andriatola, his first, team's 5th in the opening half.
And for Chambers, you touched on it earlier, Jack, finally breaking that scoring drought with some free throws earlier in the game, and now an opportunity for him to try and add on to that. And free throws are the great opportunity for players that are in scoring droughts to just stay composed, break that drought, and it's exactly what Chambers did, and now looking to take it and run with it.
He's up to 3 points. Last year he averaged just a shade under 5 a game. In the 24 games he saw action, it was a starter in 19 of the games. This year yet to start. But again, with the influx of young talent on this W&J team, a good problem to have. As Chambers does check out and Berlinski checks back in. 1 point separation with 5.5 to go. Two non-conference teams duking it out this Tuesday afternoon. The 146th meeting ever between these two. Tartan's trying to get that 17th consecutive win against the Presidents. Allen finds a lane and an easy two. Continues to put on an offensive clinic, up to 14 for him. Seidel with the response, it's all air. And Acosta can't handle it, back down for CMU.
And going back to that last bucket from Allen, he was wide open there over on the right wing. The bench recognizing it right away, immediately yelling out to the teammates for W&J on the floor, but it was just too little too late, and Allen did the rest, found the lane, and put up the bucket.
Allen was an all-UAA first-team pick last year. Whips a pass inside for Andrea Tola, gets it right back. Offline there. Once again, W&J with a chance to tie things up inside of 5 to go until the break. Last year when these two teams squared off, W&J had a lead at the break. Berlinski pulls his team within one again. A big-time shot there coming from the freshman from Ohio. Andrea Tola wants it down low. Back out for Allen. Holmes. Looks for a lane, kicks, 8 to shoot. Higgs fires. Holmes snatches it. Whipped inside for Higgs. Jarred free, and it stays with the Tartans.
President's bench trying to appeal and say it was a late deflection off of Higgs, but RJ Holmes just very physical down there in the paint, grabbing the offensive rebound, and he's one of those players that you know is going to have an impact. It's just a matter of when, and right there is a big opportunity for CMU now to extend its lead.
4 minutes to play. W&J did have a slim lead to start, but the Tartans, they have fought their way back. Higgs the blow by, and Acosta gets hit with this foul. This is his second, team's fourth. And so now things get a little interesting here, Drew, because Acosta, one of the top scorers, one of the top rebounders, 2 fouls now.
And it's almost a little bit interesting to see Ethan Stewart-Smith take him out of the game. You know, if this was 10 minutes ago, you would understand pulling him out to manage minutes, but there's only 3:55 left in the first half.
Plasko back in for the Presidents. W&J trying to stay perfect on the road, while for CMU trying to stay perfect here at home. Seidel almost got caught on the gamble. Holmes left open with 6 to shoot, and he cashes in. Another deposit of 3 for 11 and Gray, and it's a 4-point CMU lead.
Jack, one of the things I'm noticing, W&J very slow to close out on those three-pointers. It hasn't hurt them to this point, but it's starting to take effect. And CMU is certainly going to continue to utilize it until the Presidents work on things defensively.
And it seems like, as we see the turnover there, CMU's defense, they've clearly been able to adjust, and they're kind of wearing down on the Presidents. And I do wonder if this style of play by W&J is able to be replicated in the second half.
There's certain things about it that you can replicate. You can continue to employ that full court press, make things difficult bringing the ball into the front court. But there are things that are going to have to change. The offense can't continue to run through Plotner like you've tried to force it so many times here in the first half. You've got to find a way to get a little bit more creative, get more motion in the offense, and get your guards involved.
Presidents down by 4. Plotner, he's been quiet since the first few minutes. Nice move inside, great patience by the big fella. 2-point separation. Tartans have cracked the code of the President's press. Inside of 3 to go in the opening 20. Higgs steps into it. Plotner right there. Seidel up to Berlinski. Off the glass and it rolls off. Holmes gets toppled to the ground. And the foul comes against the Presidents. That comes against Cameron Rawl. That is his second, team's fifth. You got to love the aggression that Holmes plays with. Forces the opponent to also play that aggressive, and at times it goes in favor of R.J. Holmes.
And with R.J. Holmes, he knows that that's his style of play. He knows his limits, recognizes where that line is. Okay, I can get as close to that line as possible without crossing it, but other teams aren't used to playing somebody like him, so they often do cross it, and he's responsible for drawing a lot of fouls.
2-point lead for CMU. Andrea Tola. Allen flies in for it, but ripped free. Plasko causes the takeaway. Rawl pivots back, flips, no. Plotner, the stick back is true, and we're tied at 31 with 2 to play in the first.
That's a big offensive rebound right there from Plotner. Right place, right time. Holmes trying to backpedal and get a piece of it, but Plotner able to use his size and get the easy layup.
All of a sudden, Presidents have pulled back even. Holmes has it raked by Seidel, but Rawl gets enough of it to disrupt the shot. Slices it through, and Plasko gives the Presidents the lead right back.
And Jack, that's perfect right there offensively as the Presidents force another steal.
Quick 4-0 burst here. Plotner powers up for 2. Less than 90 seconds remain in the opening half. And oh, how the tables have turned this whole first half on both these teams. Rawl with great defense. Presidents coming to life. A foul against Plasko. That is his second. Team 6th. So the one blemish here, Drew, as we see Casey and Hassanine both come back in for CMU. Berlinski comes in for W&J along with Nick Colucci for his first bit of action. A lot of fouls for W&J from some key players.
It's something that the Presidents are going to have to manage over the course of the second half. Try and spread those out as much as possible. Otherwise, you're going to see some big-time players have an early day.
Errant pass, Cart off to the races, goes up, and it's pinned. Holmes chases it down. And it's back down for CMU. What a play by the 3-time All-Conference performer in R.J. Holmes.
And the Presidents are trying to plead for a goaltending call, trying to figure out what just happened. And R.J. Holmes not giving up until the play is over. He says, not in my house.
I'm starting to think that R.J. stands for rejection. Back down for the Presidents. And W&J here with a prime chance to grow the lead to the biggest it's been before the end of the half after trailing for a good duration of the last 10 or so minutes. Here's Matthew Seidel. Seidel, the former all-conference performer. Rawl, an all-state player last year at Franklin Regional. 40 seconds, 9 to shoot. Seidel, almost extracted by Higgs. Berlinski gets it off in time. Batted around, and Colucci right there to clean it up. Finds a cutting Rao. Slices, can't finish. Holmes absorbs. Shot clock turned off. Tartans can hold for the final possession to try and make this a one-point game going to the half.
That's a big play there for the Tartans defensively to hold strong, not allow the basket, and get that final possession and cut this deficit down.
Stays with CMU with 7.7. This defensive pressure getting to the Tartans. I'm sure that the Presidents talked about it. They have not defeated this team since 2000. Some of these players weren't even born yet. So the magnitude of this game might not have any impact on the conference schedule. But again, like you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Drew, another quality win that could maybe help them out down the road. 5 seconds to play. Higgs loses it. Chambers swivels away at the buzzer. Oh! What a way that could have ended the first half. But either way, W&J caps the first 20 with a 4-point lead after giving up a 5-point edge. They still stay in front. And now CMU heads to the locker room to try and regroup, regather, and see what will give to getting them a 17th straight win against the Presidents. Take a break, come back with our thoughts from halftime, and get you set for the second half right here on the PAC Sports Network and the CMU Athletics website.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12-ounce sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12-ounce sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Chase those competitive ambitions and for us to go and chase championships.
We are so grateful to Highmark Health for the lead grant that makes this critical project possible.
I am so proud of our intercollegiate athletes who compete at Carnegie Mellon. They are some of the most incredible scholars and athletes. And at CMU, we're going to show you that you can come to a place that cares about both parts of who you are. And we're going to give you the facilities and the resources and the programs and the incredible coaches and team to back you up in what will be one of the most premier facilities in
What if we went further than anyone has gone before? What if we pioneered a new form of expression? What if we destroyed boundaries and reimagined collaboration? What if we asked the questions
no one has even imagined?
Copy. We received signal from a letter.
Back here inside of the Highmark Center as we're at the break between Washington and Jefferson and Carnegie Mellon. Take a look at the stats on your screen, and right now W&J in front by 4, looking to snap CMU's 5-game winning streak and the 16-game winning streak the Tartans have against the Presidents. Drew Von Sayo, Jack Ridenauer here with you. And Drew, you and I were talking about it during the break. Just the stats really tell a tale, and I think the big thing that jumps off the board, 11 turnovers for CMU, 4 for W&J, and to your point, 20 points off of those 11 turnovers for the Presidents.
And it's just one of those things that turnovers will kill any sort of momentum you have, any sort of offensive production you have. If you keep giving the ball away to your opponent, they're bound to find the basket. And that's exactly what's happening with W&J. It's not that necessarily the Presidents are toe-to-toe with the Tartans. It's the Tartans giving this game away. And it's something that Coach Wingen is going to have to project to his team here in the locker room, is just slow it down, keep it simple, play our game, and make the passes the way they need to be.
Right now, Nathan Plotner, the leader in points for W&J with 10, followed by Michael Plasko with 8. So the underclassmen getting it done here today for the Presidents. For CMU, it's Justin Allen leading the way for the Tartans with 14, but let's face it, Drew, I mean, the next highest score is R.J. Holmes at 5, and if Carnegie Mellon wants to stay in this ball game, I know they had 36 from Allen a couple games ago, but let's face it, that is not sustainable, and somebody else has to step up.
And you're going to be looking at players like R.J. Holmes, Buckley to Jordan, Isaac Higgs. Those are the big 3 that are going to have to step up and help supplement Allen offensively. If those 3 can get that done, then this is going to be a game all the way down to the wire. If not, W&J is going to take this lead and run with it.
I know you were paying very close attention to that press by the Presidents. How do you think that Carnegie Mellon can crack through it and maybe force W&J to have to back off?
Well, one of the big things I'm seeing is that the Tartans were only having 3 players in the backcourt pushing the forwards already down into the paint. You've got to have those forwards in a way check back and try to create that numerical overload in the backcourt to help break it. And if you can get those forwards to help you come back and then go into the front court as 5, that's going to be something that will help break the press. And if you break the press consistently, then W&J is going to back off and say, okay, we're going to play defense in the half court.
We'll get you set when we come back for the second half as the Presidents in front of the Tartans by 4, trying to upset a nationally ranked CMU team. All coming up next right here on the PAC Sports Network and the CMU Athletics website.
will not only showcase how important intercollegiate athletics is at Carnegie Mellon, but we'll have the resources to allow our student athletes to chase those competitive ambitions and for us to go and chase championships.
We are so grateful to Highmark Health for the lead grant that makes this critical project possible.
I am so proud of our intercollegiate athletes who compete at Carnegie Mellon. They are some of the most incredible scholars and athletes. And at CMU, we're going to show you that you can come to a place that cares about both parts of who you are. And we're going to give you the facilities and the resources and the programs and the incredible coaches and team to back you up in what will be one of the most premier facilities.
What if we went further than anyone has gone before? What if we pioneered a new form of expression? What if we destroyed boundaries and reimagined collaboration? What if we asked the questions
no one has even imagined?
Copy. We received signal from the leader.
Back here inside of Highmark Center as we get set for the second half between CMU and WNJ. 35-31. Presidents on top of Tartans, looking for a big ranked win here this afternoon, while CMU trying to preserve their 5-game winning streak. Drew Von Sayo, Jack Ridenauer here with you. Tiana Moore, Jared Barton, and Hannah Knoll, the rest of our crew here today. Thanks for joining us on your Tuesday afternoon. Hope that you are enjoying the final 10 minutes or so of your lunch break with some CMU WNJ hoops. Holmes, he had all the daylight, but instead gives to Casey. Empty possession, a start for the Tartans. a revolving door spin. Here's Berlinski. Back out for Seidel. Plotner leads the team this afternoon in points with 10. Tries to go over Casey, and he does. The biggest lead of the ball game for the Presidents, a 6-point edge. Allen with a burst of speed, drops it off for Casey, leaves it at the side door, but Allen right there to follow.
And it's a great job by Allen following that play all the way through, realizing that Casey's layup was just a bit short and putting himself in the position to pick up the loose change.
Hart cashes in from deep. Biggest lead either team has had, a 7-point lead. W&J led by 5 to start. DeJardin leaks out, goes up, and puts it through. Acosta, though, slow to get up. And that is something to watch, with Acosta being an all-conference performer last year, and he is visibly hobbled right now. And that has to be a major sign of concern for this President's team. Cameron Rawl checks back in for W&J, but Acosta, again, a player that last year was a double-digit point scorer, this year up to almost 12 a game, and he is having to take a seat now with an injury.
And it all goes back to having players come off the bench, stepping up when it matters most, and this is a time where you need Rawl or somebody else to really make that impact.
Presidents have not taken down the Tartans in 24 years, but they've got a chance to change that this afternoon. Plotner gets fouled and almost got away with a travel there, but great tenacity by the sophomore. That comes on Casey, his second, team's first in the second half, so Plotner also drawing some fouls against the big fella for CMU.
And if you can continue to rack it up, that's going to make things difficult for the Tartans down the stretch.
Rawl gets fouled, this time by Holmes, and right to the free throw line goes Rawl. That's Holmes' first, team second.
So now both bigs for CMU have picked up fouls in the last 15 seconds.
Very similar start to this second half like in the first half. W&J throwing the first blow. We saw CMU retaliate, but we have yet to see an answer yet. Rawl at the free throw line. It's that first one to go. He's been really strong at the free throw line this year. Now 15 of 20 from the stripe on the season. He's really come to life over the last 4 games, scoring in double digits in 2 of them. 2 of 2. Back to a 7-point lead for W&J. Looking to hand CMU their first loss here at home. And it's a W&J team that is perfect when having to play on the road, so they are really living up to that right now. Allen loses it. Gets it back. Whittles out space. Beautiful move, and he gets the roll. Going amongst the trees of the defense and still finds the basket.
Just slipping and sliding his way through, looking for the little bit of space, and Allen finds it, gets away, gets it done.
Rawl barrels his way through for 2. Up to 8 points this afternoon for Rawl. And another 5-second violation. Second one this game for CMU, and the second time that it's been Higgs inbounding the basketball. And Drew, it feels like maybe there has to be some sort of adjustment there, with Higgs clearly not getting it in time.
It all goes back to the full court press and getting bodies into the backcourt to be able to get the separation, get the ball in, and then bring it into the front court.
That is now turnover number 12 for CMU. Allen with a nice backdoor, but he loses it. And that right there describes the afternoon that the Tartans have had. They get the opening, they get the angle, but the execution just falls short. Cart swerves off. Berlinski dives. Great ball movement here for the Presidents. Cart caps it off with a triple. First time the lead has been in double figures today. And the nationally ranked Tartans on the ropes here at home could very well be upset by the unranked Presidents. Plotner challenges Holmes, and Holmes gets hit with his second personal foul and the team's third.
So now you have Holmes and Casey both with 2 fouls, something that is going to play a huge factor down the stretch for Carnegie Mellon, trying to cut into this deficit. You're going to need those guys to make big-time plays, and now they have to do it while walking the tightrope of not getting into further foul trouble.
Plasko checks in for W&J. CMU, the number 19th ranked team in the nation, could very well be upset on their home court here this afternoon. They have not lost to W&J since 2000. Again, a lot of these players, they were maybe in elementary school when that last happened. Holmes, now for Higgs, spits out. Rawl with the board. Plasko with the back door. Rawl goes in for two. A man on a mission is 3 in red. He's in a double figures with 10. His third double figure game in the last 5. Casey swivels and scores. But this is territory, Drew, that CMU has not been in very often, being down by 11, especially to a team that, let's face it, on paper, the Tartans probably felt like they had the upper hand as Plasko going in for 2.
And it's just one of those things, if you're CMU, you've got to slow this game down. You're playing into W&J's bread and butter right now. Slow this game down, take it one possession at a time, get some buckets, get some stops, and take it from there.
Casey, the hook. Plautner's length bothers. Higgs on the follow, no. 2 straight bunnies. And it's back down for the Presidents. Pavlonis, Hassanin, and Bronner all back in for CMU. W&J brings in Chambers. Presidents up by 13. They lead the head-to-head with the Tartans 73-72, but again, it has been a long time since they've taken down this Tartans team. But right now they have thrown the first, second, and third punches in this 12-round bout. And CMU still yet to throw a counter. Plasko stretches off the screen. Rawl swims through, 10 to shoot. Loose ball. Held ball favors the Presidents. We'll take a look again here at the chaos that ensues, but you could just tell the physicality right now. The Presidents, they are imposing their will. Here's our good friend Terrence coming in to save the day. Always appreciate Terrence and all of his wonderful aspects that he brings to game day.
When in doubt, look for Terrence.
Absolutely. Seidel, third leading scorer this year at 10.5 for the Presidents. Drags through, good hands by Bronner. Rawl recovers, 10 to shoot. 5 minutes gone in the second. Seidel bobs and weaves, 3 to shoot. Fades. Bronner has it. Tartans trying to take this a possession at a time. Looking to keep their 5-game winning streak alive after this afternoon. Bronner orchestrates the offense. Pavlonis wants it, he gets it. Skip to Hassanin. Ricochets back, Chambers with great awareness, and it's President's ball. Plays like that can be the difference in a win and a loss.
And that's where agility, footwork, and hand-eye coordination come in. Chambers recognizing he didn't have a whole lot of space there. Hassanin closing him down. Just had to try and tiptoe that baseline, keep his feet in bounds, and did just that.
Can't tell what the issue is right now with Chambers. He's going to his eye. I wonder if he lost a contact or if he got poked in the eye.
I'm thinking he got poked in the eye, may have disrupted the contact, so now he's going to try and figure it out and get it back into place, because he wasn't looking down on the floor trying to pick it up off the hardwood either.
Yeah, finding contact on a basketball court is like finding a needle in the haystack. Very hard. Back to action. Almost 6 minutes gone in the second half. Presidents have grabbed the reins of this one and showing no signs of giving up the wheel anytime soon. Plasko almost has it stolen. 9 to shoot for the Presidents. Plasko works on Hassanine. Circumvents. Seidel with one. The sidestep's rejected. Holmes gets a piece of it. Seidel almost hit the rim there, but shot clock violation, and maybe there a defensive stop that can spurt a run.
It's one of those that if you look back on it, you can say that was the moment, and now it's up to Carnegie Mellon to define that moment.
Now it's the matter of the Tartans getting up court, and they did. Just barely, though. Holmes. Seidel mirrors his every move, but it's caught with a foul. That is his first and W&J's first team foul in the second half. Speaks volume to how they played defensively this 6.5-minute stretch.
It's all about discipline. Now that you have that 13-point lead, you can't make things easier for the Tartans and allow them to get that run.
Hassanine. Higgs, 8 to shoot. Panic starts to set in. Tartans get a big 2, though, by R.J. Holmes. But Plasko on the other end has it denied. R.J. Holmes with his fingerprints all over the last 2 sequences. Loose ball, and Holmes is still on the ground, not getting up. Plasko's 3 rattles out, but Holmes is still on the ground, and now the sign of, or the cause of concern is R.J. Holmes. He came crashing into Cameron Rawl, but that's the last thing the Tartans need is one of their top 3 options. 3-time all-conference performer getting hit, but he seems to be okay.
I'm not wondering if that wasn't just like a clashing of the knees and Holmes got the brunt of it. Certainly, if you're with the Tartans, that's exactly what you're hoping it is, allowing him to just walk it off, take a few minutes, and get right back out there.
And right now they're going to need him. He's the second leading scorer this afternoon for the Tartans with 7 points. Highest is Allen, so they're still looking for that second option. Higgs with the circuitous route, pumps and finishes. And now the deficit back into single digits, 9-point game, but it's a matter of CMU stringing together stops.
Got to go on a run, get those stops, continue to get buckets, and chip away at this deficit.
Plasko soars in, and he gets fouled. 4th team foul in the second half by CMU. And that is on Pavlonis, his first. One thing's for certain, Michael Plasko has really been a nice spark off the bench, and it has started to spill over into the stat sheet. W&J now shooting 41% from the floor. And now 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Acosta back in for Rawl, so a good sign for the Presidents that Acosta's back in. But Drew, another thing about CMU, they have yet to attempt a free throw this whole game.
And it just, again, speaks to W&J being, doing their due diligence and finding ways to stay disciplined.
Take a break and come back as the Presidents in front by 11 right here inside of the Highmark Center.
Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County has the convenience and service you can expect, including 24/7 banking. Download the First Federal mobile app or log on to the new ffgc.bank to access your account information, check your balances, pay bills, deposit checks, or even get started with a mortgage pre-qualification, all from your phone, tablet, or computer. First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County, member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS number 458729. Visit ffgc.bank for more information.
It's been all Presidents here in Pittsburgh as they're looking to snap their lengthy 16-game losing streak, to be exact, to this very Tartans team, get their 74th win ever against CMU. Not to mention, get a big ranked win against number 19 Carnegie Mellon. Drew Von Sayo, Jack Ridenauer here with you. Thanks for hanging out on your Tuesday afternoon. CMU's led by as many as 6, but W&J, they have had the upper hand with a 13-point edge. Pavlonis gets sandwiched and fouled. This comes against W&J, and that is on Alex Acosta. And that, check that, it's on Nathan Plotner. That's his first, team's second. So good thing it's not on Acosta, because that would have been his third.
And at that point then, Ethan Stewart-Smith probably would have had to pull Acosta back off the court, let him sit for a little bit, and get him back in there with about 7-8 minutes to go.
Pavlonis can't put it through, and Seidel emerges away with it. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Seidel all the way down. Acosta fakes, can't drop it in. Volleyballed around, Murphy's got it. CMU trying to stay undefeated here at home, but that right now is in jeopardy. They have been stellar over their last 5 games, trying to make it 6 in a row. Higgs challenges and finishes down low. Strong move inside. Hassanin, the guilty party on the foul. His first, team's 5th. Allen, DeJardin, and Holmes, the 3 Musketeers, as one might call them. I'll check in for CMU. I'm sure for Justin Allen, he has told both Holmes, who has 7, and DeJardin, who has 4, hey, I'm going to need a little bit more out of you, and right on cue is DeJardin with a steal. Spins, floats, no, back tap, yes! DeJardin with a man bucket down low.
Didn't necessarily get the most on it, just a little fingertip to redirect it back towards the hoop, and got just enough on it to get it to go.
CMU keeps chipping away at the deficit now, just 7 points after it being 13 a few minutes ago. Acosta. Berlinski barrels through, DeJardin goes flying. Seidel's 3 short, and DeJardin, good thing he went flying to that side of the floor. Holmes stumbles, and he's fouled. That is also on Plotner, so he picks up a quick second, team's 3rd. Ball and Cart back in for W&J. But it's clear the Presidents, they are feeling the footsteps of the Tartans right now.
And Jack, as we've talked about before, this is a young Presidents team. This is an opportunity for them to recognize the pressure and hopefully for the Presidents not crumble.
Allen high off the window, and it's a 5-point separation just like that in a blink of an eye. CMU shooting almost 46% from the floor. Hassanin with a nice steal and a foul on Cameron Rawl. That is his 3rd. And it's the team's 4th in the second half. Slowly but surely, the tide starting to go in favor of the Tartans.
And you almost have to wonder when Ethan Stewart-Smith is going to call that timeout to just allow this team to take a moment, reset, and not let this moment get the better of them.
Almost halfway gone in the second half. Tartans trying to avoid being upset by unranked W&J. Holmes hops. Can't fit it through. Murphy on the follow, no dice. 3-on-2 for the Presidents. Rawl can't reel it in, and it's back down for CMU. W&J is asking for a tip. They are not being heard. Cart waving around the finger saying, hey, take a look at it. And this feels like it could be, if they do look at it, and they decide not to.
There's a lot of Presidents fans here certainly making their case and letting the officials know that they're not happy with that call.
DeJardin. That could have been a huge 3 to make it a 1-possession game. Door still left ajar here for CMU. They have melted away that once 13-point deficit. Cart, the leaner, slaps it back for Rawl. W&J has done a marvelous job taking care of the rock. Just 8 turnovers to CMU's 15. 7 to shoot. Plasko twirls back. Gets the fade away. Tough shot for Plasko. He's got 14 to lead all President scores. And a huge bucket by a freshman.
That's just individual brilliance right there from Michael Plasko, recognizing he had absolutely nothing, just trying to gain separation, hits the fadeaway, makes it look easy for that matter.
He could very well be making a case for conference newcomer of the year. The Jardin sidesteps, high arcer, off iron. Seidel's got the board. W&J 9 minutes away from snapping a 16-game losing streak to CMU, not to mention picking up a big win on their side. It would be their 4th win in the last 5 games. Trying to avoid a second straight loss after falling to St. Vincent by almost 20. Cart, half spin. Here's Seidel, former all-conference performer, trying to make something happen with 4 to shoot. Looks for space. Plotner at the shot clock. Buzzer! What could very well be a momentum shifter puts the lead back into double figures. And Plotner, who's attempted now his 3rd 3 of the season, he makes his 2nd. And a foul comes against Michael Plasko, so that's his 3rd, team's 5th in the second half.
Jack, just going back to that last basket, I mean, who says the big man can't hit a 3? And you talked about defining moments. That might be one right there for Nathan Plotner and the Presidents.
The reigning PAC Player of the Week living up to the award. Allen sneaks through, almost gets the and one bucket. Either way, he heads to the stripe to earn the 2. Foul is on Seidel, his 2nd. Team 6th, so the foul's starting to rack up. Rawls got 3, Plasko's got 3, Plotner's got 2, Acosta's got 2, and Seidel's got 2. Big free throw by Allen. 80% free throw shooter on the season. This team right now in jeopardy of suffering their first loss here on home court. 2 for 2. Allen up to 22 points this afternoon, but again, the next highest is Higgs and Holmes, who both have 7. Plasko, he's got 14, 6 of 10 from the floor. Ten to shoot. Cart looks for a hole, drives, can't finish. Holmes right there. Trying to cut into this deficit more. Hassanine, short. Holmes springboards for it. Allen with daylight. Ball's got it. Seidel pumps the brakes. He's only got 2 points this afternoon. 1 of 8 from the floor. Plasko gashes through, and he draws a foul. This is on, presumably, DeJardin. That's his 3rd, team 6th.
And Jack, this game very well may come down to which team can stay out of foul trouble, as so many players now racking up 2-3 fouls. We still have almost 7.5 minutes to go. And it's just one of those games that's going to be physical, but you need guys to get their footwork right, slide when necessary, and avoid those little fouls, because over time they start to add up.
Yeah, if this does turn into a free throw shooting battle, it does favor CMU. Plasko empty. He's a 44% free throw shooter on the season. He shows it off there with 2 missed free throws. CMU gets a bucket here. All of a sudden, it could be maybe a 6 or even a 5-point difference. Holmes, tight ropes, but he can't stay in play. Yet again, another turnover for CMU. They're 16th, and Coach Wingan's got to talk things over. We'll do the same as the Presidents are in front by 8 right here on the PAC Sports Network and CMU Athletics website.
Leave renting behind? Let the friendly loan officers at First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County guide you through the mortgage process and make your homeowner dreams a reality. And if you're planning to take on the work yourself, ask about an owner-builder loan and be your own contractor. Already own your home and looking to finish a project? Consider using a home equity loan or line of credit from First Federal. First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County, member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 458729. Visit the new FFGC.bank for more information.
W&J has the number 19th ranked team in the nation on the ropes here on their home court. They could very well get their 4th win on the road. Not to mention W&J could get a massive win for the resume. You mentioned it earlier, Drew, about their win against Baldwin Wallace, one of the top programs in the country over the last handful of seasons. This W&J team, I know they're coming off a pretty tough loss against St. Vincent, but the way they've played against Carnegie Mellon, it is pretty impressive. They've been able to bounce back because this is a CMU team that carried a ginormous amount of momentum into today. 5 straight wins, not to mention recently beat number 21 Middlebury.
It just goes to show that anybody can beat anyone on any given day, and that's the mentality the Presidents came in with, recognizing what the game plan was to exploit some of the weaknesses in this Tartans team, and you're seeing it with the number of turnovers that Carnegie Mellon has to their name today.
Plasko, tough angle, but it doesn't matter. The lead back into double digits. The window of opportunity starting to close for CMU. Murphy wraps it inside for Holmes, and it swirls off. Another bunny missed. Allen has it ripped free. Rawl for 2. Big time move by Rawl. 6.5 to play. The Presidents looking for that first win since 2000 against the Tartans. Hassany barely gets it in time. 12-point lead for the Presidents. Tartans looking for some answers. Allen, the go-to guy, loses it. Acosta takes it away, one man to beat, leans through, and he's fouled. Holmes draws his 3rd, team 7th, and the Presidents shooting free throws for the next 5:58.
And that's a big moment right there, not only for Acosta to head to the free throw line, but to the point you just mentioned, Jack, with the Presidents shooting free throws the rest of the way, at the very least a 1-and-1. And as we talked about it before, this game may very well come down to free throws. And the more opportunities you get, the more chances you get to have them go in your favor. And you don't want to get into a free throw battle with Carnegie Mellon.
W&J just a shade under 64% as a team from the line this year. And Acosta on the season, a 45% free throw shooter, but he puts that all to bed, makes both of them in the lead, swells even further. We'll take another timeout and come back for the final 5:58 to see how this one shakes out right here in Pittsburgh.
Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County has the convenience and service you can expect, including 24/7 banking. Download the First Federal mobile app or log on to the new ffgc.bank to access your account information, check your balances, pay bills, deposit checks, or even get started with a mortgage pre-qualification, all from your phone, tablet, or computer. First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County, member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS number 458729. Visit ffgc.bank for more information.
Back here inside of the Highmark Center as the Tartans, they're looking for some answers right now. They're down by 14, the biggest deficit they have faced this whole game and arguably this whole season right now. Drew Von Sayo, Jack Ridenauer here with you, and Cameron Rawl, he has been coming to life. Michael Plasko's been coming to life, but then Alex Acosta on this previous play going all the way, and not to mention drawing a foul against R.J. Holmes. Just great awareness the whole way through.
Just recognizing that he wanted to get the ball onto his dominant right hand, having to cross the court to do so, and that was what drew the contact. Holmes was closing in, anticipating that Acosta was going to stay down the left side. Acosta cut in, and then at that point, Holmes was already committed.
Now Higgs again having a hard time inbounding, almost got his third 5-second violation. Inside of 6 to play, the Tartans, they feel that 5-game winning streak slipping out of their fingers. Desjardins. President's eating up some clock here. Looking to get that 4th win in the last 5 games. Seidel, again, he's a top 3 scorer, but he only has 2 points this whole afternoon. It's been the reserves that have stepped up nicely. Berlinski probes, 8 to shoot. Plasko twirls, Higgs rips it free, up to Desjardins, 1 man to beat, and it almost rolls in. Berlinski gets hit with a foul, that's his first, and team's now 7th. So both teams shooting at least a 1-and-1 for the next 5-14.
And it's a great job there from Desjardins, recognizing that he had to get something, whether it was the foul, the bucket, or both, and an opportunity for the Tartans to chip away at this deficit once again.
And Desjardins on the season, 84% from the line. Misses. Casey can't reel it in. And again, the President's in business. 13-point lead, 5 minutes to play. Seidel. Being hounded. Zigzags through, shuffles, Plautner. Bounces off. Higgs has it. Tartans, they've got a lot of work to do and not much time. Holmes dashes through. Higgs fakes in and almost gets the end one, but wisely draws the foul on Plautner, and that's now his 3rd, team's 8th.
The foul trouble just continuing for the bigs on both of these teams. You got 5 fouls combined between both teams' bigs, and it's something that you're going to either have to start to see these guys get more disciplined, or you're going to have a lot of players having an early exit. And an
uncharacteristic sequence here by CMU, a team that shoots 76% from the line. They've missed 2 of their last 3, and now 3 of their last 4. Iron just simply unkind today to the Tartans. Number 19 ranked team in the nation in jeopardy of being upset. Plasko, a rare miss. Here comes Allen, trying to be the superhero. Desjardins circles off, turns, leaves it short again, and Plautner vacuums it in. Another missed bunny. CMU makes a couple of these. It could be significantly closer, and the timeout is called by W&J. 4:08 to go, and we'll come back with the final 4 minutes right here in Pittsburgh.
Leave renting behind? Let the friendly loan officers at First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County guide you through the mortgage process and make your homeowner dreams a reality. And if you're planning to take on the work yourself, ask about an owner-builder loan and be your own contractor. Already own your home and looking to finish a project? Consider using a home equity loan or line of credit from First Federal. First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County, member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS number 458729. Visit the new ffgc.bank for more information.
W&J 4 minutes away from doing something that hasn't happened in 24 years, and that's beat Carnegie Mellon. That game, it was a 49-47 difference. And since then, they have lost 16 in a row. But I'm sure that was, again, highlighted at halftime. It was probably highlighted before the game. And they have come out energized. And CMU still retreating on their heels with almost 4 minutes remaining. Plasko, he's been the hot hand. He's got 16, and it stays with the Presidents. This is a Carnegie Mellon team, as we take a look back at Plasko's drive, that came into today playing great basketball, scoring north of 80 points in 4 of their last 5, winning all 5 of those games, but now in jeopardy of not even reaching 65. Plasko, front rims, Desjardins. It's the accelerators, but Plautner gets a hand on it, using that length. Allen all the way to 2. Berlinski maneuvers through, and Desjardins caught between a rock and a hard place there. His fourth, and the team's eighth.
Desjardins just couldn't put the brakes on, but a few moments prior to that had brilliant awareness to just stay composed. And when things weren't working for him in the offensive end, just finding a way to keep the hands moving, keep the feet moving, and led to him finding Justin Allen for that last layup.
Berlinski gets the first one to go. On the season, a 56% free throw shooter. These are free throws 10 and 11 for him on the year. He's been more so making his hay defensively. He's got 4 multi-steal games this season, but he's got 2 ginormous free throws there to keep W&J in front. They've just gradually kept their foot on the gas, not letting up. 13-point lead. W&J has led by double digits for at least the last 7 or 8 minutes. Allen. Back for Holmes. Trying to make something happen. Pumps the brakes, and he's fouled. Like you mentioned, Drew, it's going to boil down to free throws. Seidel gets his third. Team's now 9th, and truly it turns into a war of attrition. Which team can just hope that the other doesn't have those key players foul out?
And if that does happen, then who can step up off of the bench? I mean, we've seen Plasko for W&J come off the bench. We've seen guys like Hassanin for Carnegie Mellon, but you know, those are only one guy for each team. You've got to have more than that given the trajectory of this game, with players more than likely at some point going to start fouling out.
Holmes 2 for 2. He's up to 9 points. Second highest scorer for CMU. The highest is Allen with 24, right at his season average. But it could be too little too late. The Presidents looking to get their 4th win in their last 5 games. Higgs comes up with a steal. Here come the Terns with 3 minutes to play. 11-point game, but Berlinski comes back in and rips it free. He's got it out front. Blows past Higgs, and it swirls home. Berlinski with a big shot there. Back to a 13-point lead. It's been as big as 14 for W&J. Casey dives, but Plasko picks his pocket. The freshman arguably having the game of his young college career this afternoon. Seidel is whacked by Higgs. That's Higgs' first, team's 9th. This is a position that the Tartans, they have rarely been in, if at all, this whole year. Their lone loss was against Denison in the 3rd game of the season by just 1 point. Other than that, they have marched through their schedule until they ran into the Presidents today. Seidel is 71% free throw shooter. Now up to 3 points. The average is almost 11. So the Tartans have kept him in check, but it's been Plasko and Plotner that have been really a problem, each with 16.
Sometimes it's the players you least expect that make the biggest difference. And in that case, it's Plotner and Plasko today. You knew Seidel was going to be someone that was a big part of the Tartans' game plan. To this point, Carnegie Mellon has kept him in check, but others have stepped up big.
Both Plotner and Plasko playing with a lot of confidence. They were both the leading scorers in the most recent loss W&J had to St. Vincent. Another steal by Berlinski. Seidel goes off, finds the runway, but not the bottom of the basket. Either way, he heads to the line for 2. This is on Holmes. It's his 4th, team's 10th, and now this lead could very well erupt into the 20s, as it's a 15-point lead for W&J. And make no mistake about it, CMU led by as many as 6, but that was back in the first half. First one good by Seidel. Set on the second. W&J 2 minutes from pulling off a big upset against number 19 CMU, but Justin Allen, if he's got anything to say about it, he's trying to will his team back. He draws the 4th foul against Seidel, team's 10th. But again, it's a matter of is it too little, too late?
If anyone can be the one-man marching band, it's Justin Allen. But to the point you just made, Jack, with just a tick over 2 minutes left, not entirely sure that there's enough time for him to work his magic. We saw it about 10 days ago against Bowdoin, but Lightning isn't going to be able to strike twice.
Holmes on the follow, runs into the rim, but Allen sticks it back. 13-point separation, less than 2 minutes remain. Torrance trying to make a last-ditch effort, keep their 5-game winning streak alive. Seidel splits the double. CMU now 5 of 9 from the free throw line. And that's 5 on Holmes. His afternoon is done with just 9 points, but 12 rebounds. And so now the Presidents, they can just pour salt in the wound here. And it looks like they are now a minute 40 away from that first win against CMU in 20-plus years. Casey comes back in for the fouled out Holmes. And this is kind of a crossroads game, it feels, for both of these teams right before Christmas break. And for CMU, I'm sure they're going to have a long time to think about this. But they have a lot of time to rebound from it. And for the Presidents, also going into the break, they have a lot to build off of from a performance like this, especially with how, let's face it, they flipped the script. They lost by 19 to St. Vincent. And they've got a chance to maybe win by 14 or 15 to a number 19 ranked team. Second free throw short by Acosta, but he leaps for the rebound. Hassanine fouls Seidel. Hassanine's second, and Seidel, he's got more free throws coming his way.
Although to your point, Jack, this is certainly going to be the win that W&J spends its Christmas break thinking about, but at least in the short term, it's going to have to be temporary because W&J is right back at it in 2 days against Capital at home. So that's going to be the game where now if you're W&J, you say, okay, we just went into Carnegie Mellon and did that. Now how do we build from it?
Seidel with his first miss from the free throw line, now 5 of 6. Hassanine blazes down to Jardin. Shimmies through. Acosta with great defense, and it is thrown away. That is turnover number 22 for CMU. They came into today, Drew, having 10 or fewer turnovers in 2 of their last 3 games. Then you go even further. It was 3 of their last 5 that they've accomplished that, and they've now reached that total today with 22.
It's just one of those games that isn't falling in the Tartans' favor. It's like everything that can't go right is happening, and just have a lot of players not quite on the same page. Miscommunications, errant passes, not being able to get the inbound in within 5 seconds. It's just one on top of another, and it's an opportunity for Carnegie Mellon to go back to the drawing board, get humbled a little bit, and say, okay, yeah, we ripped off 5 straight. Now we got our butts kicked, point blank and simple. And it's an opportunity for the Tartans to regroup and just take some time off and have a fresh start when they come back from break.
Chambers checks in. Final 76 seconds in this one. The Presidents, they can just taste that huge win. They're 4th in the last 5. Allen, though, again, he's not giving up. Chance at 3 for him. He's now got 28, his 7th 20-plus point game this season. Cart checks in, takes out Chambers for W&J. Check that now after the score update. He's got 30. 4th straight game of 20 or more. Not to mention, second time in the last 3, he's had 30 or more. One-man wrecking crew. And as CMU takes a 30-second timeout, minute 10 to go. And this one all but wrapped up. And for W&J, again, they stuck to the game plan. Give credit, though, to Carnegie Mellon. They have not back down. They have not thrown in the white towel whatsoever. And again, they did lead about midway through that first half by as many as 6 points. But it's just been W&J that has meticulously kept themselves in front this whole way.
And that's just one of those things where we saw as the first half progressed, where Carnegie Mellon was inching closer and closer to pulling away, but W&J did just enough, kept itself in the game, had that late first half surge, and then never looked back. And so that is the moment where W&J realized, look, we've had moments of greatness, now we just need to put it all together and keep it consistent. And that's how the second half has gone, with a little bit of Carnegie Mellon errors, with some Carnegie Mellon errors sprinkled in.
Berlinski's fouled. And that is on Allen. That is his first.
Justin Allen, his first. WJ in the double bonus.
Yeah, and soon enough, both these teams will get into conference play. And for W&J, they definitely will have quite the interesting journey throughout the PAC. And same with CMU. Berlinski gets the first one. And Desjardins and Plasko check back in. For CMU, though, they'll next take on Walsh on the road on December 30th, and then they play Ithaca before letting Dickinson back here into Pittsburgh. And then they get into conference play, and they're going to be really facing a tough schedule. You've got a nationally ranked Wash U team, the third game into the UAA schedule, and then 3 games later, they play arguably the #1 team in the nation in Emory. Hassanine's 3 falls through. So another timeout by Carnegie Mellon. By my quick math, which there's a reason why I'm not a mathematician, but an 11-point game. They would have to basically play this perfectly. But right here, a huge shot by Hassanine, much needed.
It's one of those plays that has to be made. If it's not, this one's over. And now it gives the Tartans just a little bit of life to cling on to. Got to go out, hope for the best in terms of W&J missing free throws. And like we've said earlier, you just got to take this one possession at a time. You still have 2 timeouts, so there are opportunities to talk things over even more over the final 59.8. But as you mentioned, Jack, this would have to be perfect over the final minute for the Tartans to have any sort of life.
Really enjoy some of the CMU game day staff being very festive. Got reindeer antlers, we've got Christmas lights. Happy holidays to you at home. Hope you're enjoying the early part of the holiday season. I can't believe it's almost Christmas. We haven't done any Christmas shopping. Timeout called by W&J. A smart move by W&J, because if that had been a turnover, fast 3 by CMU, all of a sudden we're back to an 8-point game, and that could be vastly different. But again, it's now just a matter of W&J making free throws, but can CMU act fast enough to get back down the court?
And this is one of those things where if you're CMU, you've got to run the high press as soon as the ball gets inbounded, foul. You got to get at most 2-3 seconds off the clock before you foul, and then it's got to be a quick tempo through the backcourt into the front court, get the offense set up, look for that quick shot.
There's Ken Baker, PA announcer here. He loves it. They've been playing Christmas music the whole time, and I would normally say, well, shouldn't we have some more pump-up music in a basketball game? This is an appropriate time. Very appropriate time. Drew Von Scio, Jack Ridenauer here with you. Hannah Knoll, Jared Barton, and Tiana Moore, the rest of our crew today. We'll be here also for the second game of the doubleheader, as the women's will be taking on La Roche. So stick around for that, coming up at around 2 o'clock or so. Seidel races away, and now it's just a matter of playing that good old-fashioned game of keep away.
Foul goes on Carnegie Mellon, number
Aiden Murphy gets hit with it, his first. You look at W&J after today, like you mentioned, Drew, they play Capital, and then they start out PAC play with an Allegheny team that has been struggling, a Teal team that right now could go one of 2 ways, same with Waynesburg, but then things get pretty tough for them. They face off against a good Franciscan team, a very good Chatham team, before they run into Westminster and Grove City. So this is exactly what this President's team needed before they faced that gauntlet.
It's an opportunity to have that test before the true test. And W&J, little bit of experience in conference play. Go back to some non-conference play, work some things out, and then use that momentum into the back half of the season.
Allen drives in for two, and another timeout called by Coach Wingen. 10-point difference, 46.6 to play. Coach Wingen, he's been in these situations before. He's won over 400 games. Actually got that 400th win against the former team of the gentleman off to his left in the black, Pat Martinelli, former assistant coach at Chatham University. Coach Wingen got his 400th win against the Cougars.
And he's slowly closing in on 400 wins here at Carnegie Mellon, too. It would be a miracle for him to pull off 385 here today, but there's still the possibility that he can achieve 400 wins with the Tartans later this season, depending upon how the rest of the schedule pans out for him.
Well, we'll see if that Christmas miracle comes to fruition. If it'll be a miracle on 5th Avenue instead of 34th Street. 46.6 to play, 10-point separation. W&J's led by as many as 14. They're looking for their 4th win in the last 5 and to stay undefeated on the road. Seidel with those long arms stretches for it. And now W&J, they've got it, move it down court. Seidel just barely over the timeline. Plasko, finishing touches. They're still giving that full court press. They are not going down with ease. Bronner inside to Higgs. Backs down on Berlensky. Gets a bucket. No more timeouts for CMU. Check that they do have one timeout left. But a foul committed by the Tartans, and that is against Isaac Higgs, his second. Mentioned about Plasko, really interesting story about him. He was a late bloomer as a basketball player. He didn't even start on the South Fayette 8th grade team. Slowly but surely ascends through the WPIAL. 4 or 5 years later, he's a top-tier scorer in the WPIAL. At one point, he was top 5 last year, and then all of a sudden, now he's got himself at W&J. And let's face it, Drew, he could very well make a case for maybe PAC Newcomer of the Year if he keeps this going.
Especially when earlier in the season, he produced 21 against Chatham. So he's no stranger to having 20-point games, and if he strings a couple of them together, then that can happen.
Single digits. Allen makes it a 9-point game, but 10 seconds to play. And this one nearly wrapped up. Plautner, the exclamation point. And the drought comes to an end. For the first time since the year 2000, W&J defeats Carnegie Mellon. They snap their 16-game skid to the Tartans and upset the number 19th ranked Tartans 84-73.
Just one of those games that W&J, to its credit, found the game plan that worked. Getting Plasko to come off the bench, having Plautner be a strong force in the paint, just having those two combine. And even though Justin Allen put up 36 points, it still wasn't enough, as the turnovers were the story today for the Tartans.
Allen finished with 36, followed by Higgs and Holmes, both with 9 for W&J. Michael Plasko reaching 20-plus points for the second time this year, right at 20. Nathan Plautner with 18, Rawl with 12, and Berlensky with 12 as the Presidents defeat the Tartans. Not to mention, they snapped their 5-game winning streak and their first loss here on their brand new court. W&J now 8-3 overall and 4-0 on the road, while for CMU 7-2 overall and 4-1 here at home. For Tiana Moore, Jared Barton, Hannah Knoll, and Drew Von Sayo, this is Jack Ridenauer signing off, never saying goodbye, just simply a see you.